Daybreak Africa is your one-stop top-notch breakfast show that brings you all the interesting stories happening in and around Africa.
Because we have all the morning essentials,
including the latest news, sports, weather, and events. And of course, the people.
Daybreak Africa on Television Nigerian.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
We're all doing good this morning.
Good morning, Mercy.
Good morning, my dear.
How was the night?
My night was fine.
Okay. A whole lot of don't leave me challenges flying around.
I'm telling you.
That's our own way of starting the day in a very relieving way.
I'm telling you, exactly. Lots are funny. Even yesterday, we tried to do one.
Yeah,
there was this one, if my name is Esther, and I'm bleaching, and I bleach, does that make me establish? And you were saying something else, but then we'll not say that one.
No, let's not go into that now.
All right. Nigeria recorded 452 new cases yesterday of the coronavirus, bringing to a total of 21,371 cases of the coronavirus in the country. However, we have 7,338 recoveries so far. Sadly, 533 deaths since coronavirus came into the country.
I actually saw the statistics and I saw the record that came out yesterday, and it's still all about the same thing that we've been talking about, where we're still a little bit worried concerning the number of cases we've been recording for some days now. But just yesterday, I think we saw a drop, slight drop yesterday, because we've been having 700, 600, but yesterday we only saw 400 and something.
Because a day before yesterday, that's yesterday we had 670 or something, 75, and today we are having 452. And as at yesterday, Nigeria has recorded a total of 100,000 plus tested. You understand, of the coronavirus. So we're seeing out of this is why we're getting these figures every other day. But anyway, there's still hope for Nigeria, because the recoveries every other day, like I said, there's a spike in the number of recoveries for over the past 2 weeks now. It
still fall back to what we've been preaching for some time now. We just need to intensify our effort to see that we adhere strictly to the guidelines that have been put in place by the appropriate authorities.
Yeah, so like my partner already said, we should just be responsible for ourselves right now. We should be responsible for every action that we take right now. Anyway, let's join Susan Achin on the news desk for news across Nigeria.
There are a lot of false information about the coronavirus. These are the facts. People of all ages can be affected by the coronavirus. However, older people and people with pre-existing medical conditions such as asthma, diabetes, heart diseases are more vulnerable to the disease. It is not for old people alone. Gargling salt and warm water or chewing garlic and ginger cannot prevent the virus. Drinking alcohol, hot lemon, palm oil or chloroquine will not kill the virus. The virus cannot be transmitted through mosquito bites. Antibiotics do not work against the viruses. Antibiotics work only against bacteria. Boiling pineapple peels, lime and ginger does not kill the virus. Putting raw onions in rooms will not ward off the virus. Using or spraying Dettol, special oils, and water all over your body cannot kill the virus. There is no scientific evidence that cooking, drinking, or eating any of these is an effective treatment for coronavirus. Do not self-medicate and take responsibility by sharing only verified messages from health authorities such as NCDC, Federal Ministry of Health, and WHO.
Good morning and welcome to AM News. I am Susan Achin. Nigeria has recorded 8 new COVID-19 deaths and 452 fresh cases in the country. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) disclosed this on Tuesday via Twitter. The NCDC confirmed the new cases in 13 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. This brings the total confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the country to 21,371, with the number of discharged patients to 7,338. President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana has called President Muhammadu Buhari over the demolition of the Nigerian High Commission in Accra. In a telephone conversation on Tuesday, Akufo-Addo expressed a sincere apology over the unfortunate incident that has sparked reactions from the Nigerian government. This was confirmed in a statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Garba Shehu. The Ghana leader assured President Buhari that he has directed a full investigation into the matter, assuring that justice will be served. Meanwhile, some suspects linked to demolition have been arrested and will be arraigned in court. Ahead of the September 19 governorship election in Edo State, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has been speaking on the plethora of issues relating to the conduct of the exercise. In a statement, INEC's National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, said the conduct of party primaries, including resolution of disputes, will end on Saturday, June 27, 2020. The submission of the list of candidates whom the parties propose to sponsor the election, as well as affidavits of the validly nominated candidates, will close on Monday, June the 29th, 2020. Now, High Court of Justice in the Ekpoma Judicial Division Tuesday restrained the People's Democratic Party (PDP) from excluding Governor Godwin Obaseki and the other cleared aspirants from participating in the Edo State governorship primary. The court ordered that the PDP and the electoral umpire should not exempt any of the aspirants who have been cleared by the party from participating in the gubernatorial primary slated for the 25th June 2020. With this decision, Governor Godwin Obaseki has been given the legal green light to participate in the gubernatorial primary. Benue State government has announced that the first death from the coronavirus disease has been recorded in the state. This is even as the confirmed cases rise to 47 from the initial figure of 39 at the weekend. The Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Sunday Ongbabo, disclosed this to journalists on Tuesday. Although he could not categorically confirm the cause of death, the Commissioner said the victim was being managed by the state government. According to him, the patient had other health complications arising from a surgery he had, adding that a post-mortem test conducted on the corpse came back positive for COVID-19. And on the entertainment scene, the elder brother of Nigerian singer Davido, called Adewale, has said that the singer and his fiancée Chioma are still together. Adewale said this during a chat with controversial OAP Daddy Freeze. It was earlier reported that the Blow My Mind crooner and mother of his son had ended their relationship. However, the singer's brother has come out to quench the fears of the couple's fans. According to him, they are still together. And that's it on AM News. I am Susan Achin.
This is still Daybreak Africa on television, Nigeria. I would like to say welcome back from the news with Susan Achinra there. A whole lot that she talked about, especially I think I saw when she talked about Davido's elder brother coming to talk about them still being together.
All right.
She said, all right.
I reserve my comments. Anyway, we are going to be having a guest in the program this morning with us in person of Mr. Segun Awosanya, also known as Shegalink. Via Zoom this morning. He's the convener of NSAS and a human rights crusader this morning. Let's go on a very quick break, and when we come back, we usher in our guests.
Nigerian, a broadcast network committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hits Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed.
All right, welcome back. This is still Daybreak Africa here on television, Nigeria. So we have Mr. Segun Awosanya, aka Shegalink, with us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Shegalink.
Good morning.
Okay.
Yes, good to have you join us on the program this morning. How is Lagos?
Thank you very much for.
So we are here to talk basically on the severe public lack of trust in our security agency.
Issues surrounding the handling of some of those issues from our security operatives. So we just wanted to give a general overview of what's your take concerning the lack of public trust in our security agencies.
I believe that in any society, what holds society or civilization is law and order. And when you're talking about law and order, you're looking at those who enforce law and order in society. And that's talking about the closest authority to the people, which is the police. Now, you cannot have a police structure, that does not have discipline, that does not understand the law, that is so easy to join that any tout on your street can be found wielding gun on your street. So with that, people only put trust in something that serves them. If the police is still living in the ancient time under the antiquated laws that no longer mirror society, it will be difficult for a complex society such as ours, to trust the people who are no longer serving them. There are cases that we see on a daily basis on our streets that does not even show that police have the minimest, minimal amount of training that is required in any organization. There have been so many conjectures that have been used to justify the impunity within the police structure. And most people often take it personal that the complaints of the people are actually personal aspersions on individuals, which is not the situation. If you are a software developer, if you are a building contractor, or if you are in any business whatsoever, whether even as a person, if you are a parent, for instance, and people are complaining about your word or your son or your daughter in school, you are going to do something to ensure that that child behaves properly. If you're a software developer and everybody is complaining about your product, your software, you will recall that software and fix it so that it can meet the minimum requirement or the utility, the service utility of the people, which means the satisfaction that people derive from using that particular software. So the service quality of the police, the service culture of the police, the service utility of the police are all reading zero. The police have broken every single treaty signed by Nigeria over 20 years. So you can imagine why we're the worst in the world. So that's one of the reasons why there can't be trust in a situation where you don't see police and feel comfortable that your interest is being protected, that your person is being protected. So what you see is a threat to your person. And that means they are more or less a terrorist organization as far as they're concerned. So that's one of the reasons why they can't easily be trusted. And the only thing the police can do, just like organizations like ours have been trying to do over the years, is to help them win trust. And this is not by campaign or by placating the ignorant. It is about engaging the people enough and demonstrating leadership. You cannot tell me that the police mirror society, and because of that, anything you see in society, you see in the police. That is admitting to the failure of the entire institution. Yeah. You don't go to, I don't think there's anybody who goes to work. I know there are lots of our colleagues across board, but you don't go to work with a bottle of beer in your hands. You discipline yourself while you are in that environment. The same way, why the culture of society must not be dragged into a system such as a police institution. Everybody wearing the uniform must justify their being there by serving the nation and not serving themselves.
Wow.
All right there. Well, just like you said, Mr. Shegun, they are not serving the nation. But then we have seen in different situations where we see violation of this police on human rights, on the citizens themselves. And one begins to wonder, are there these laws that we're talking about that we're supposed to follow? If the police are not following them, are they being sanctioned for it? And your movement, like your profile, the NSAS campaign, how far has it gone? Has it yielded any good result over the time? What can you say is the response of the government to all of this menace from the police people to the citizens of Nigeria?
When we started the NSAS campaign 3 years ago, going 4 years now, we were very specific about what we're doing. Unlike America, where you just see people on the street throwing tantrums and destroying their own society. If you notice, since the NSAS campaign have started, no single individual have lost their lives because they're campaigning towards a better policing in Nigeria. It was well structured, it was well communicated, it was well situated, showing fully well that we're trying to build a bridge over the institutional gap we have in Nigeria, not just with the police, but with the criminal justice system itself. In Nigeria today, the judiciary is corrupt. In Nigeria today, the prisons are just a bloody warehouse or mere warehouse, where a new level of injustice is being perpetuated, right in there. And then the police is the ones that we see and we interface with on a daily basis, which is why they are the leading organization or institution that we're first engaging in order to sanitize them before we go into the other ones. While we're doing this, it is not a social media campaign as most people will normally want to simplify it. Yeah. It is a multifaceted and multi-layered engagement of government, of different arms of government, the executive, the judiciary, the legislature. And right now, as we're talking right now, we have facilitated two different bills. One has become law, which is the Police Trust Fund bill, which takes care of the operational financing of police itself. But while the police reform bill is still in process, we are still deliberating on that. We are at the technical phase now, having collected input from all stakeholders. So what the police reform bill will do is to democratize the police, because we must get to the root of this. Now, it is not about single of the bad eggs in the police system itself, because I know a lot of people used to say that not all police are corrupt, there are some bad people inside and everything. Apart from digressing and asking the reason why bad people got into the system, we are looking at an institution that is supposed to stand for discipline, that is supposed to stand for law and order maintenance. In order and they're supposed to uphold law and order. How can you uphold law and order when you don't even know what the law says? True. How can you uphold law and order in the 21st century where human rights is no longer a foreign language? But you look at every police unit that we have had. We have the largest in the world. We have the largest police silos in the world. a lot of niches have been cut out of the Nigerian police, which have become terrorist organizations on their own. We have our tactical squad. The reason why we designed NSAS Reform Police NG is we're not addressing SARS in particular. We are using SARS as a point of contact to all the tactical squads we have that have gone rogue, that are now running their own course, that have now become a criminal enterprise on their own. Over the past few weeks, we've been having back and forth with the IRT, Intelligence Response Unit, a team, IDP IRT. You won't believe that an intelligence unit of Nigerian police does not deploy intelligence towards their operation. They rather arrest people under allegations of crime and then begin to negotiate ransom so that they can release them and then arrest them another day and collect another ransom again in millions. And they do this, and we open our eyes and we destroy the future of our children, and then we begin to ask ourselves why people don't invest in this country. So we have gone as far as ensuring that there's legislation in place. This legislation, by the way, is an executive bill, which is supposed to be sponsored by the presidency itself, who gives direct order to the Nigerian police. So you can imagine how unconcerned that they are. And the moment this thing is done, they will quickly destroy every single work that you have done, that the citizenry have done, in order to strengthen institutions. How can any nation grow without strong institutions? America is the way they are today because anybody can be president in America. Why? They have institutions that will question authority. In Nigeria today, the moment you start raising questions, political pundits and the people that poverty have been weaponized against, and the illiterates of the future who are not willing to learn anything, will begin to tell you that you are against the president. We begin to tell you that this is political. We begin to tell you that their rulers are gods and they must not be questioned. And the same mentality goes into the police. Every police officer you see, even a lance corporal who cannot speak English, will tell you that he has a right to oppress you because he believes that he is more superior to you, and he believes that they are still living in the colonial era where the police are only there to uphold the ruling class, to support the ruling class, to protect the ruling class from the 99%. And that's exactly what we must not allow to hold. And that's one of the reasons why it is imperative for us to pass the police reform bill effective immediately. If not, there will be chaos in this country.
Wow. Okay. We've actually seen times without numbers from the past how people tend to misinterpret the hashtag #EndSARS campaign. We all know what actually necessitated the essence to create SARS as a command under Nigerian police, even though you've actually talked largely on some extra that have been made out of Nigerian police that you caught that have been running their own course, where you made instances of them arresting people, demanding for ransom instead of bail,
and then taking them back into custody.
Okay, some people were feeling like, okay, why don't we recall for reformation of SARS instead of ending SARS? Because if we end SARS, they are supposed to be a special anti-robbery squad, right? And then if we end SARS, don't we think criminals will now have a few days to perpetrate their criminal activities?
Following that philosophy, do we then say we disband the entire police force and retain SARS? What exactly is the use of the police? Decoration? So what are we saying in essence? In the 21st century, you don't use guns and ammunition to fight crime. You use intelligence.
Wow.
So you don't need armed men who are thugs on your street, carrying guns and disturbing the peace of the nation, and looking for who to incriminate because there's no crime going on. That's not how it's done. If you're going to create a special unit who are going to be the SWAT team, who are going to have swift response to crime, then designate them for that. Let them appear only when they are curbing crimes, not breaking into homes and looking for laptops and phones. The entire police institution, there must be a national security declared on this, because the entire police institution, including EFCC, they have neglected their duty as a were, and what they are doing now is breaking into homes, taking captives, and demanding for ransom. This is what they are doing. Everything about the Nigerian police now is about Yahoo boys. And everybody is a Yahoo as far as they're concerned. Everybody is a Yahoo. Any young person looking nice with a laptop and with a phone is a criminal in the face of Nigerian police. And this has been reinforced by the powers that be. Because they will want to, the moment they see that you have raised an eyebrow over their criminality, they will look for every means to incriminate those people. There is a case presently ongoing with the IRT. Of course, IRT are topping the news now. They are like the new SARS. Since SARS have been flagged, those ones have gone quiet, and now IRT have taken over. All over Nigeria, there's no day we will not hear about somebody being abducted all the way from Abuja, from Lagos to Abuja because one big man wants him punished. And they will pay IRT to do this. They have become bounty hunters and they have become so lawless. No matter who you report them to, they will be telling you right to your face that they have the right to oppress the citizenry and nothing is going to happen. That if you even report to the IG, that they will ensure that they criminalize that person. Even if the person is innocent, they will ensure that they criminalize that person. And that is already happening in Abuja. They are parading people that refuse to pay them bribe before the public. And according to the agreement with the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, that is illegal. It is an infringement of human rights to illegally parade suspects without court judgment. And they still continue to do this. And media who are looking for brown envelope goes there to go and publicize this impunity. And these things are done every day. So why should we respect or regard or even trust a police system who cannot respect human rights, who cannot respect the law, who cannot uphold the law, who doesn't even know what the law says? Nigeria is a pariah state globally now because we have broken every treaty in the world. And that's one of the reasons why we're not respected. We're a lawless country, because the closest authority to the people is the enemy of the people. You can't say that criminal activities will continue because there's no SARS. The SARS are the real criminals. They are the majority of them, because if you say they are good ones, what exactly is the role of the good ones? What power do they have to confront the impunity of their peers? Because corruption is peer-induced and peer-reinforced. If there are 15 people in the police station, for example, and 10 of them are bad, the 5 cannot speak. If not, they will get a transfer or they will be incriminated. So they have to join them. And all of them already have mandates. Every day they put DPOs tell people to go and bring money, to go and collect bribe. And they all have mandates. If not, if you don't take it, you will not even be assigned a gun. And this criminality has been going on for years, and we've been complaining about it, and we have not seen any result from that. So, like I said, we're engaging on a multifaceted and multi-layered format. But that doesn't say that we cannot flag issues that are now becoming a threat to our nation. The reason why we're doing this in the first instance is to protect the future of our young, to protect the future for coming generations, because we have refused to allow this become a legacy that we're going to hand over to our children. Our parents never fought this, and that's why we're wearing the chains today. Police is older than Nigeria. They are over 70-something years old. And if we are still maintaining the Act of 1943 in 2020, when exactly are we going to emerge? When exactly are we going to have a civilization that is worthy of calling one?
All right, Mr. Shagun, I would love to ask this question. With all the talks going on about the lack of trust for the police operative, are you trying to see a situation, I am trying to see a situation where from the training schools for these police personnel, if it is possible that they actually train these police officials on what they are actually to do in the society and what not to do in the society. And do you think there should be a particular time when the guns with them should not be with them? Like we had a case of a mistake shooting in a bus that killed a young girl and she died on the spot. Now, those policemen were just on the street and he was actually struggling with the driver. So now, are we trying to see a situation where, like I'm saying, these guns, if these police officers are meant to be on checkpoints to just, checkmate the movement, and this happened in COVID-19. COVID-19 is not a war sentence, it's not insecurity per se, it's a pandemic that we're dealing with. What if we saw a situation where there were no guns with these police officers? How do we actually checkmate all of these things? Because you can't be shooting someone mistakenly, having a gun in COVID-19, being on the street with gun. Are you trying to shoot COVID-19 or you're trying to shoot the people on the street?
Thank you very much. Intelligence-led policing, community policing. What do they mean? First of all, intelligence-led policing need not require a gun. I don't have a gun, for example, and we're policing the police, and we have been doing it successfully for years. So it is not about the guns. It is about integrity. If police show integrity, if police show service, if police show responsibility, if police show leadership, there's no how people won't listen to them. It is the uniform that they respect, because you are not representing your family on the street. You are representing the Nigerian nation as the closest authority to the people. If this is understood, your conduct will be checked. You will not see me on the street dragging people's shirts just simply because I have a voice. I'm not going to do that. I will comport myself properly. So if a police officer sees engaging crime or prosecuting crime as a means of dragging steering with driver or fighting people or subduing people on the street as if we're still under the military interregnum, then there's something psychologically need to be done, to the Nigerian police itself. They need evaluation. It is not about taking guns or holding guns, really. As far as I'm concerned, police should not be, they should be disarmed, totally. So if we are going to have tactical squad, let's check the brains of these people who are putting guns in their hands and then monitor them properly. These people are not supervised. These people are not checked. There's no accountability whatsoever. They are only giving guns to go and do as they please. And they use it to make money simply because there's no training, there's no proper training, there's no proper financing. Most of these tactical squads you see are not properly financed. Some of them are still sleeping in their cars as I speak. Some of them don't even have cars.
True.
So you can imagine how a whole police institution is running amok and nobody is saying anything about it. The leadership are mum because even the IG does not have a security of tenure. An ordinary politician now with political will can easily go to the president and say, "Dude, that your IG has offended me and we are not going to support you if you don't fire him." He will be let go. And he doesn't want that. So because of that, he will watch anything that is going to be disruptive, he will never touch. And that's why we are where we are today. Before this new IG came in, under IG Idris, that most of us even consider to be primitive, he saw reason and decided to say, okay, let us agree on something. He partnered with the civil society organization and we came up with a policy, a stopgap, that tactical squads must not be seen roaming the streets. They must wear uniform. They must conduct themselves so and so and so. We must check prison. We put all these things in place and it was working. There were no noise about people harassment nationally for a while until the new IG came. When the new IG came, everything we put in place was destroyed. With the mind of, okay, he's coming to put his own structure in place. Till today, there is no structure in place. Till today, killings have resumed. Till today, RIT have become the new SARS. Till today, impunity is being justified. Till today, raise a serious corruption flag on the operations of police. You will never, probably may never see the light of day if they are commissioned officers, if their ranks are higher, because it takes months before the Police Service Commission can even prosecute any of the police officers. By the time they will be coming out with their judgment, it's already 2 or 3 years. So where is the justice? If there's no justice within the police structure, then for goodness sake, why are we arresting people? And I've seen a lot of people argue that, yes, police are not supposed to be angels, police can make mistakes, police can whatever. Why do we have an institution if we are having the same rubbish that we have in the society in the same police system? What are they policing if they don't know better? So these are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Unless we are not being sincere with ourselves and toying with the future of our children, this must be prioritized and we must begin to sanitize the Nigerian police. The police reform bills have taken care of most of the things I have said now, in terms of training, financing, educating, community policing. What is community policing? Community policing is like you having other engagements with the police other than their normal prosecution of crime. In Nigeria today, you only see police when they're about to make a scapegoat of somebody, when they're about to arrest or harass somebody. Why can't we have police talking to us about what the new law says and how they are engaging now? Why can't you have police in schools educating children on civic rights? How can't you have police going to the motor park to talk to drivers and let them know the things that can actually bring a conflict between the two of them? Police represent society. You have family in the society. Have you ever thought that you are not even enough to confront the people? We have 200 million people in Nigeria, citizens in Nigeria, and you are only 450. With 450,000, with 450 of you following VIPs. If there's a war today, it's going to last just for days or for weeks. Nobody will be able to wear black in this country. And that's what we've been trying to prevent. And you don't even understand that some of us, we're not doing this for grants, we're not doing this for money. We're using our children's college funds to strengthen institutions, to make you look good before society, and to help you correct your mistakes. And yet, every single thing we do, you are rubbishing it with your corruption. We should be angry. We should be annoyed. We should call you out. We should hold you to account because you are destroying and threatening our democracy. And this should not be allowed to take root. And there must not be any cover up on anything that police is doing. Because if they are corrupt, then the nation is corrupt. And we must ensure that police are exemplary. So that anytime we pick any officer on the street, he must be able to represent Nigeria anywhere in the world. And that's what we're working towards.
Yes, Mr. Shegun, thank you very much for that. Any more questions?
No, I think we're running out of time. I just wish we could continue because this is one important topic that bothers almost on every citizen because one way or the other, we've been directly or indirectly involved with police, either from the good side or some of the bad side we've been talking about. But subsequently, I wish we could just have Mr. Shegun on set so that he talk more.
Yeah, probably have him another time on the program. Thank you, Mr. Shegun. Also known as Mr. Shega Links. Thank you very much for being with us on Daybreak Africa this morning. Okay. Then you're still on to Daybreak Africa here on television Nigeria. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we have the dailies with us.
There are a lot of false information about the coronavirus. These are the facts. People of all ages can be affected by the coronavirus. However, older people and people with pre-existing medical conditions such as asthma, diabetes, heart diseases are more vulnerable to the disease. It is not for old people alone. Gargling salt and warm water or chewing garlic and ginger cannot prevent the virus. Drinking alcohol, hot lemon, palm oil or chloroquine will not kill the virus. The virus cannot be transmitted through mosquito bites. Antibiotics do not work against the viruses. Antibiotics work only against bacteria. Boiling pineapple peels, lime and ginger does not kill the virus. Putting raw onions in rooms will not ward off the virus. Using or spraying Dettol, special oils and water all over your body cannot kill the virus. There is no scientific evidence that cooking, drinking or eating any of these is an effective treatment for coronavirus. Do not self-medicate and take responsibility by sharing only verified messages from health authorities such as NCDC, Federal Ministry of Health and WHO.
Alright, welcome back. This is still Daybreak Africa on television Nigeria, and like my colleague Riley pointed out, we'll be taking you straight to the newspaper review segment where we take a look at some headlines from some of the national dailies. So,
okay,
what do we have to start with?
Yes, let's start with the Punch newspaper this morning. I'll take this story below the picture nameplate. Generator fumes kill 2 hairdressers in Lagos. That's a very sad one.
Quite a sad one.
I don't understand. Beside that, Oyo postponed school reopening to July 6th. That's on page 11. You can read on that. Above the nameplate, the big headline here, more drama as police occupy APC police. NWC battles Gaidon over neck. I have Buhari's approval to convene neck meeting. That's coming from the suspended secretary.
That's Gaidon, right?
Yes. You are on suspension, can't convene neck. NWC wants embattled chieftain. I have decided to sit and watch developments as they unfold, saying this is coming from Amechi, and that's on the Punch newspaper. I'll take this last headline here. Killer soldiers deliberately gunned down IRT policemen to free Wadume. This is coming from Hamisu's kinsman. That's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper.
Shagali just talk about IRT becoming the new SARS, where their stories has been topping every national dailies, and we just see a confirmation of that.
We're seeing the main system, the inside of the main system. We're not seeing how ugly it is. That's just what our guest was talking about now. And we're coming to read the papers again this morning, and we're seeing a situation like this. I can't really believe that this is actually happening.
I think from his talk, he actually charted so many way of provide so many solutions to the menace we have at hand.
But it's not the first time we're hearing of such solutions.
The problem now is all about implementation. Thank God he was able to make mention of some of the successes recorded with some of the bills already passed.
One has already functioning.
From the legislative arm of the government. So we need to see more follow-up if we want to save our society and all.
Exactly.
For crying out loud, he said this is 2020, and we cannot be using a police act or whatever act of 1943 in his words.
Because like he said, the Nigeria police is even older than Nigeria itself.
All right, let's take a look at the Daily Times, where we have this interesting headline: FG present plan on schools reopening to NAS. That can be found on the page 2 of the Daily Times. That's below the nameplate. And then we have FG expresses concern over your government's decision to reopen schools. Beside the picture story, angry Imo pensioners protest over unpaid pension arrears. That can be found on the page 13 of the Daily Times. Then below that, Yobe awards 5 billion naira contract for 2 modern markets. Ondo 2020, Accra sack Ajayi's aid. Still several impasses are happening with the seat of power in Ondo State right there. All right, let's take a look at this one beside the nameplate. NAF destroys 10 armed bandits camp in 4 Northwest states. For details of these stories and even more, pick a copy of the Daily Times newspaper.
Okay, let's take a look at the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. On the headline, the big headline here: more confusion in APC. Police seal reopen party secretariat. Gaidon fixes virtual NEC meeting tomorrow. He's on his own. That's coming from NWC.
The way you say he's on his own, I thought that was coming from you.
He's on his own. That's how you can get a hold of that story on the page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Above the nameplate, 13 Imo lawmakers, 49 Enugu health workers test positive for COVID-19. Ugwanayi sets up committee on de-escalation of disease, grants relief, incentive to taxpayers. That's on page 28.
That's more like a proactive measure coming from the governor of Enugu State right there.
Exactly. Below the picture, nameplate there, court clears Obaseki to participate in PDP primary. Okay. Party petitions NJC seeks sanction against Port Harcourt judge. Wike abandons Edo governor. Well, it seems like the court these days in Nigeria, it seems anybody can go to the court, they can rule against and back again, rule for, against. It seems like there's a confusion.
The problem here, it's not about who can go to court. Ordinarily, court is supposed to be accessible to all citizens of the country. Yeah. But the major concern we need to look at is the back and forth judgment where one part of the same judiciary says one thing and another court says the opposite.
Yes, that same court, this is saying this is saying that, this did that. No. Anyway, I'll take this other headline. Minister gets ICRS nod to concession Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano airports. That's on page 2. NIIA leadership tussle. Federal government appoints interim DG, begins recruitment for substantive head. That's on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper, and that's all for the Daily Sun.
I think the story about the concession of about 4 airports in the country actually got me, and I saw that. I think the roadmap they laid out were quite good and understanding for the fact that when those things were being run by the federal government, they were being run at sub-optimal level, and then if we can go into private partnership, public-private partnership, the PPP, which actually leads to concession, they listed out the gains and all, but with what has been happening with the privatization of some other government institutions in the past, you might not really stick out your neck and vote for maybe for policies like this. But let's see what happens. Away from that, let's take a look at headlines from the Guardian newspaper, and let's take it from top to the bottom. Danger signals from Edo political actors. That's more like the editorial story, which can be found on page 2 of that dailies. Northern governors, Monguno, others meet over rising insecurity. Group clarifies petition to UN, Trump over invasion of Southeast. Beside that, airlines seek flight resumption as NCAA submit findings today. The big banner story we have says Nigeria may lose out on COVID-19 vaccine. You want to know what that's all about? Pick a copy of the Guardian newspaper. Then still concerning COVID-19 story, minister orders task government scientists on homegrown solutions. Tension as police seal and then reopen APC secretariat. Pick a copy of the Guardian newspaper to get the details of this and even more.
All right, moving to this day newspaper, the headline here, Wike withdraws from reconciliation, 3 governors head for Edo State. No tax collector among us, NWC replies governor. Party reports Rivers judge to NJC. Another court stops Obaseki's exclusion from primaries. Still below that, Ghanaian president apologizes to Buhari over demolition of diplomatic building. Just an apology. Well, I don't think it should be just an apology. They should rebuild. Yes, they should rebuild. Because Nigerians are always quiet. You see, this morning I was watching something and they're like, Nigerians were always quiet. We won't talk about this. They will do this to us and we'll be so quiet like nothing is happening. How can they let you talk? But what do you have to say about that? No, just apology?
I saw where the president was actually talking about the investigations has been ongoing to see that the perpetrators of that criminal act are being brought to book. So I think that will go a long way. And then the other option, yeah, you talked about, I think that should be considered too.
All right, that's all for this day newspaper.
Okay, I'm from the Nigerian Tribune. Above the nameplate COVID-19, 13 Imo lawmakers test positive. And then the banner story from that publication says, PDP kicks off battle for Edo on shaky note. Wike pulls out of reconciliation moves. No NWC member-sponsored media publication against Rivers governor. That is coming from PDP. Court restrains PDP, INEC from excluding Obaseki from primary. That story can be found on the page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. And then below the picture story, please take over APC Abuja office. We deployed personnel there to maintain peace. That is coming from the Nigerian police. And then Ondo Guba, deputy governor, alleges impeachment plot as police invade assembly. They are on normal patrol, says the police. Then deputy governor's aide sacked. All of that can be found on page 4. And then you can do it by picking a copy of the Nigerian Tribune to take the details of these stories we brought your way and even more.
All right, the Business Day newspaper, that's my last paper this morning. States gave federal government control over their discourse shares. Trouble is getting it back. The main headline here, Nigeria's foreign reserves face further strain as balance of payments deficit jumps to 5-year high. Besides that, federal government sees hope for economic recovery in mass housing, roads construction post-COVID-19. You can get a hold of that on page 30 of the Business Day newspaper. Well, that's it for the dailies this morning.
All right, and I just wish we could actually go on, but for the want of time, that is the much we can take on today's edition of Daybreak Africa on television Nigeria. Tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll do this again. Until then, my name is Elvis Oga.
Yeah, until then, my name is Messenger. Hope to see you tomorrow, or I hope you see us tomorrow. Stay safe.